biologists. Today we're going to talk about the human life cycle and how mitosis and meiosis play a role. On my screen, you can see a human life cycle. We have some vocab to discuss. First, up here we have a key. You can see that the green or blue arrow, however your eyes see that color, refers to haploid. Haploid is denoted by in, which is one set of chromosomes. So everything that is in this blue line here is going to be haploid, one set of chromosomes. The second vocab word is diploid. Diploid means two sets of chromosomes. Think di for two. We write that as two in. Anything with this peach or pink color is going to be diploid. So all of these stages in the life cycle are diploid. We also have our vocab word of meiosis. That's producing sex cells, which we call gametes. In humans, our gametes are called sperm and egg. So meiosis produces sperm and egg. Every time you do meiosis, you produce 4 cells that are genetically different from each other and are genetically different from the individual that made them. And those 4 cells are haploid. They only have one set of chromosomes. We'll talk about why in a second. In fertilization, you're going to take 2 gametes and produce a single cell. And then mitosis is the process of making all of your somatic cells, which are your body cells, everything except gametes. So your somatic cells are your hair, your skin, your muscles, your liver, your enzymes, your blood, all of it is going to be somatic cells. Somatic cells are diploid, and they are made through mitosis. In mitosis, you make 2 daughter cells, and your daughter cells are genetically identical to each other and genetically identical to the individual. So we've got all of our vocab down. Let's go ahead and start with a diploid zygote. A zygote is the single cell that was created from the fusion of sperm and egg. If we were plants, like these behind me, it would be the single cell that was created from the fusion of pollen and eggs. So it just depends what type of organism you are, but for humans, it's sperm and egg. So this individual cell is diploid. It's got 2 sets of chromosomes. Where did it get those 2 sets? It got one from its father, and it got one from its mother. Those fused together, fertilization, and now you have one cell with all the information you need to make a full human. This cell is going to divide by mitosis. So one cell is going to become 2. It's going to do mitosis again. 2 becomes 4. 4 becomes 8. 8 becomes 16. And it continues and it continues and it continues until you grow and you develop from a single cell to an embryo, to a fetus, to a baby, to a toddler, to an adolescent, to an adult. So you do all of your organs, growth and development, repair, all of that is mitosis, a lot of cellular mitosis. You go from 1 cell to 100 trillion, which is just a massive number. As you're doing mitosis and growing and developing, eventually your humans will be a multicellular diploid adult. Multicellular because they have 100 trillion cells. Diploid because they have 2 sets of chromosomes, one from mom, one from dad. These adults will become sexually mature, which means their gonads, the testes and the ovaries, will do meiosis, the process of making gametes. Again, gametes are sperm and egg. There are sex cells. So when the ovaries and testes become mature, they're going to take one of their progenitor cells, and that one cell will turn into 4 daughter cells. And those 4 daughter cells are genetically different from each other and genetically different from the individual that's making them. So there is genetic recombination that happens during meiosis. There's crossing over, there's independent assortment. And in that, you have 4 different sperms or 4 different eggs. But the key for the life cycle part is that each of these is haploid. It has half of the information you need to make a full person. It has 1 set of chromosomes. And it has 1 set of chromosomes because to make a human, you need 2. So you're going to put 1 in your sperm, 1 in your egg, And when they fuse, you'll have two sets. So meiosis produces haploid cells, 4 daughter cells that are genetically different from each other and the adult. Those haploid cells may come together, and if they come together and fuse, they will take one set of genetic information from mom, one set from dad, and in fertilization create one cell that has 2 sets of DNA, so it's now diploid, and it has all the information you need to make a new human, and that cell will divide, mitosis, and again and again and again, and grow into a new human. So that is how meiosis and mitosis play a role into our human development. I want to show you another diagram because I think it helps to see it more than once. Here's another human life cycle diagram. We'll start with our adults. We have 2 adults. They're going to have gonads. In their gonads, they're going to produce meiosis, which will cause 4 daughter cells to be created. They're genetically different from each other and the adults that made them, and they are haploid. So here we have our 4 of our sperm and our 4 of our eggs, our gametes together. Those will fuse in fertilization. You will create a zygote. The zygote will continue to divide. This is mitosis. So we only use meiosis to make our sperm and our egg. As soon as they fuse together into a zygote, everything is mitosis until you're sexually mature. So here you have mitosis, it's growing, you create an embryo becomes a fetus, your fetus is birthed, then you have a baby, which grows into a child, and then eventually becomes sexually mature, and you can do meiosis again and create another human, and the life cycle is complete. When we are doing mitosis, the first step in prophase is for all of our DNA to condense into chromosomes. And we can actually look at that in a microscope. So here, this is a picture from a microscope on the left. This is the DNA that's condensed. It's not lined up on the metaphase plate yet, so we're in prophase. But we can now see that the DNA is wrapped up into chromosomes. So what scientists do is they take a picture of this, and then they cut out the chromosomes, and they line them up based on their length and their size. And that's how we figure out someone's karyotype. So a karyotype is the number and types of chromosomes you have. You get 23 from your mom and 23 from your dad. So in total, you have 46 chromosomes. But that doesn't always happen. Sometimes you get more, sometimes you get less. But on average, people have 46 chromosomes, 23 from mom, from a haploid sperm or egg, and 23 from dad from a haploid sperm or egg. So each of these chromosomes is referred to as homologous. Here's chromosome number 6. This one would be from your mother or your father, and the other one would be from your other parent. So you have 2 sets of chromosome 6, chromosome 7, chromosome 8, because each of the haploid gametes contained 1 set. So in this karyogram here, we can tell it's a diploid individual because there's 2 sets of chromosomes, 1 maternal, 1 paternal. And then if you look down here, there is an interesting anomaly. There's 3 chromosomes of this type. We call that trisomy. So monosomy would be 1, disomy would be 2, trisomy is 3, and sometimes you have none. So there's lots of different variation, and you're going to read about that in the textbook. I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for watching.